soccer fans, welcome back to Everything Naija Football, where we discuss the latest happenings right here in the world of sport in Ekiti State. We'll go beyond the shores of Ekiti. We'll talk about what is going on in other states, as well as talking about Nigerian football. Now, we understand a couple of stories making the rounds right here. We quickly check the stories right here, and we'll discuss and talk about it in very fine details. We understand that over the weekend it was an international friendly engagement between different teams across the world. We understand Nigeria were in action twice. They played an international friendly. First off with Saudi Arabia. The match ended in a 2-2 draw right there in Portugal, and they faced Mozambique a couple of days later. It was a win, 3-2. Nigeria were able to edge out the Mambas of Mozambique in that particular encounter, and I will talk about what that actually means for Nigerian Super Eagles, because for a very long time, since 2019, that was the last time Nigeria won a friendly match, and that was a 1-0 thumping of Egypt, courtesy of that strike from Paul Onuachu. We'll talk more about this in the course of the show. We'll talk about how Nigeria fared over those two matches, the talking points, as well as what to expect in the next African Cup of Nations. Away from that, now we'll talk about the Nigerian Premier Football League, how things unfolded over the weekend. A couple of teams like Remo Stars picking up the win, as well as Enyimba are doing very well for themselves. Sunshine Stars slumped their chance to actually pick up a vital 3 points at home. They ended 1-1 right there at the Akure Township Stadium. We'll talk more about that, as well as what Uzo has to say after he was heavily criticized prior to that particular match that Nigeria played with Saudi Arabia, as well as the Mambas of Mozambique. Away from that now, we talk about the full draws of the Super Eagles. They finally found out themselves their opponents who they will be playing with in the African Cup of Nations to be staged in Côte d'Ivoire next year. Also, Onomehebi is in the news, as well as Rivers United are set to play their home games in Uyo. We'll talk more about this. Sadly, unfortunately, I'm flying solo today. Jerry is not here. T-Wonder is also not here. But trust me, I will do the right thing to make sure that you enjoy every bit of this particular show. We'll begin the conversation now from the Super Eagles setup, where we understand it was a 2-2 draw in Portugal when Nigeria faced Saudi Arabia. The Saudi Arabians were the ones that drew the first blood in the first half, courtesy of that direct free kick that Francis Uzoho made a mess, made a schoolboy error, and he wasn't able to do the needful right there. We considered first, and it was a very fantastic way to bounce back. Terry Murphy, as well as a couple of other players, stood up and gave a good account of themselves. The cross came in, but it was an own goal. We actually thought it was Boniface's time to score, register his name on that particular score. But then substitution, talking about Kelechi Iheanacho, came on. He also found the back of the net before Nigeria considered a late goal, courtesy of that strike from the Saudi Arabian international. And 2-2 ended right there. Quickly, we'll talk about what we make of this match. Nigeria have struggled a little bit, and what I saw particularly in that particular match is the urgency was never there from the Super Eagles. They didn't really do what was needed of them. Although it's a friendly match, but friendly match do count. This is what prepares you for proper tournaments as well as proper competitive matches. But then there was no matter of urgency. The transition of play was a little bit weak and not fast enough. They were not really playing as if they wanted to win, but when they scored, it was more of a balanced game. It looks like they came back into the game, and then getting the second goal from Kelechi Iheanacho, we all thought, yes, we are actually running away with this one, but quite unfortunate, a free kick was awarded for Saudi Arabians, and they pounced on it and they make the most out of that particular encounter. He ended 2-2 right there in Portugal. Away from that now, we'll talk about one particular man that was very, very decent in that particular contest, talking about Bruno Oyemashi, the left back, applies the trade for Boa Vista in Portugal. We quickly look at his interceptions, how he was very good in positioning himself, quickly getting recoveries, as well as his ball deliveries, his crosses looks very, very good, and a lot of people will say this young man has potential, to give the likes of Zaidu Sanusi as well as Jamilu Collins a proper competition right there in the left back. Away from that now, we'll talk about the second match, the second international friendly that Nigeria played against the Mambas of Mozambique. Nigeria were able to get the better of the Mambas of Mozambique. But before we go to that particular one, let's quickly take you through the lineups of the players that played against Saudi Arabia. In between the goal, Francis Odinaka Uzor, he was protected by the back four Bruno Yemachi. Calvin Bassey paired with Semi Ajayi. In the centre back, Tyrone Eburi plays from the right hand flank. Samuel Chukwueze, who was wasteful on that particular day, was in the midfield with Ademola Lookman on the flanks, while Alex Iwobi partnered with Fred Ndidi, who was the captain of the day. And up front, Victor Osimhen as well as Victor Okor Boniface were leading the attack that particular day. Talk about Bruno Onyemachi's contribution. He was able to clear a particular ball, intercepted twice, 3 tackles. He wasn't dribbled past at all, and then he got the total accurate pass of 32, that is 82.1%. You're talking his key passes was 1, crosses he made good crosses of 5, but then 1 was accurate. Long balls 5, 2 was actually accurate. He won a total of ground duels 3 out of 6. Area duels was 1. He lost possession 14 times, and then he committed a foul twice. Quite decent, but then afterwards in that particular match he was quite good. What we've not actually seen the former left back in a lot in recent time, in the previous time, was what we saw that Bruno Onyemachi was actually bringing to the table. Last left back we saw put up a proper composition was that of Zaidu Sanusi. So now the conversation now is who gets the nod going into the African Cup of Nations. Will it be Zaidu Sanusi or a certain Jamilu Collins, who has been back after a long length of injury and is doing fantastically well for himself in Cardiff City? Or will it be Bruno Onyemachi, who plays his club football for FC Boa Vista in Portugal? Now, away from that, now Nigeria played Mambas of Mozambique after that particular 2-2 draw with Saudi Arabia, and they were able to do the needful for themselves. And it was on Monday when Nigeria faced Mozambique, also in Portugal. These 2 games came up in Portugal, and then it ended 3-2 in favor of Nigeria. Mozambique were the ones that struck first in the very early in the first half, when Uzor was unable to give a good account of himself yet again, as he conceded very early in the 7th minute, courtesy of that Kenny Katamo strike. But Nigeria were able to respond very quickly, courtesy of that strike from Terry Murphy at the OG Sydney's forward. Frank Oyinka doubled it in the 31st minute, being assisted by Dele Bashiru as well as Moses Simon. Makes no mistake from the sport geek, to put Nigeria 3-1 ahead in the first 45 minutes. And coming back into the second half of that particular tournament, Faisal Abdul Banga of Mozambique reduced the deficit in the 56th minute. Nigeria having bringing on Ademola Lookman, Umar Sadiq, as well as Chidozie Awaze, and a couple of other players like Alex Iwobi and Calvin Bassey were able to hold on to that particular win, and brings it to an end of a long 4 years jinx where Nigeria has last won an international friendly. Talking about that particular 1-0 victory over the Pharaohs of Egypt in 2019, courtesy of that strike from the former Genk man, talking about the man who plies his trade presently, Trabzonspor, talking Paul Onuachu. Away from Super Eagles stories now. Now let's take a look at a couple of players that made their debut. Jordan Toro Neraga was there as he made his official debut against Mozambique, as well as Tomdele Bashiru, who contributed to the success of Nigeria having beaten the Mambas of Mozambique right there. He assisted the second goal that Terry Murphy scored, and it was quite decent. We talk about the area Super Eagles is expected to improve on. We're talking the quick transition of plays. How urgent do you think they should take off the play? You quickly let us know in the comment section. Making decisive decisions as well. It's good to build up the play right from the midfield and from the back, but getting to the final third, in some cases it looks like they don't really know what to do with the ball, and these are the areas that I feel Super Eagles should improve on going into the particular African Cup of Nations to be staged in Cote d'Ivoire next year. We'll talk about how to take your chances in front of goal. Football is all about taking chances. How do you capitalize when you have the chances? Put the ball into the back of the net. If possible, bury the game in the first half, and then you can sit back in the second half and go away with 3 points. We do hope. And also, one last particular point, the defense line needs to be very, very solid. We're talking how to get the exact combination of the defenders that you have on board, how you partner them in the heart of defense, as well as lots needs to be done in the goalkeeping department. We understand we have talent. Francis Uzor has been a shadow of himself of recent, but then we still have a couple of other goalkeepers that are doing very well, excellently very well for themselves. Should these goalkeepers be given a nod? You're talking Tobias Lawal that plays for Lask Linz in Austria. Dele Alampasu is also another option. We're talking some of these goalkeepers playing right here in the local league. Remo Stars goalkeeper, you're talking Ojo Olonleke, who is with Enyimba. He was a part of that squad, but he wasn't really given the nod to show Nigeria what he can actually do. Away from Super Eagles now, we'll talk about what transpired over the weekend, where we understand that Nigeria found out their foe. We're talking African Cup of Nations 2024. The field draws has been done, and teams now have found out their foes, and the stage is set. Ivory Coast is ready to welcome the rest of the world. The rest of the remaining 23 teams to be in that particular contest right there in Abidjan. We'll quickly check out the groups right there and what to expect in that particular tournament. Now, in Group A, we understand Ivory Coast, definitely they are in Group A. Now have been paired with Nigeria as well as Equatorial Guinea and Guinea-Bissau. While in Group B, Egypt, same group with Ghana, the Black Stars of Ghana, and also Cape Verde and Mozambique. While in Group C, Senegal will lock arms with Cameroon and Guinea, and as well as the Gambia. And in Group D, we're talking Algeria, Burkina Faso, and Mauritania, and Angola. And in Group E, the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia, the Eagles of Mali, and the Bafana of South Africa, and as well as Namibia. And last group, while the Atlas Lions of Morocco will play Democratic Republic of Congo. The Zambians are also in that particular group, as well as Tanzania. A tricky draw. Nigeria gets a tricky draw. A couple of ex-internationals, as well as players who still play for the Super Eagles. I've been talking to ex-international and the Ivorian legend who used to play for Chelsea, Drogba, has something to say. He said Super Eagles will be a difficult opponent for Cote d'Ivoire. Recall that the last time the Super Eagles played with Ivory Coast in the African Cup of Nations proper was back in 2019, when Nigeria eventually won at that particular tournament. Nigeria hedged out Cote d'Ivoire in the quarterfinals, courtesy of that strike from Emmanuel Emenike and Sunday Umba, the local base man who has left the national team now. Nigeria hedged out Cote d'Ivoire and went on to beat Mali 4 goals to 1 before beating Burkina Faso by long goal in the final to win the third ever African Cup of Nations. Also, we'll talk about Kenneth Omero, who also said that the Super Eagles are not scared of Ivory Coast as well as other top teams, meaning that they are actually going all the way to fight for this particular African Cup of Nations glory. But the question now is, beyond talking, can these boys get the job done by the time they travel to Cote d'Ivoire by January next year for the African Cup of Nations proper? Now, if you ask me, I'll tell you quickly, I'll take you through who I feel will make it out of the group. This is just my own personal predictions, no disrespect to any country whatsoever, but in Group A, I'm seeing Ivory Coast, the host, as well as Nigeria going through in that particular group. And in Group B, it's looking like Egypt and Ghana we advance. No disrespect to Cape Verde and Mozambique, but I feel Egypt and Ghana are the stronger side when you look at that group. This Group C is a little bit dicey when you're talking about how competitive this particular group is. Senegal, Cameroon, Guinea, as well as the Gambia, these are top teams. All these 4 teams played in the last African Cup of Nations. Senegal were eventual winners. Cameroon hosted the last African Cup of Nations, and they beat Burkina Faso in the 3rd place to clinch the 3rd place round. But now, my pick will be Senegal, definitely need to go through. But then I will be tipping Gambia ahead of Cameroon to make it out of that Group C. In Group D, obviously, Algeria and Burkina Faso. And in Group D and in Group E, Tunisia, as well as Mali will make it out of that particular group. And in Group F, I'm saying Morocco as well as Zambia getting out of that particular group. But then we will see a couple of best losers, right? Teams like South Africa, we're talking Equatorial Guinea, we're talking Cape Verde, probably Cameroon will also make it out of that group. But beyond the qualification in the group, what should we expect at the round of 16? These are a couple of questions are popping up as regards the African Cup of Nations to be staged right there in Cote d'Ivoire next year. Away from that now, we'll talk about NNL. Let's get straight to the story of NNL, as the board, NFF board, has actually said that there is no going back on October 28th kickoff date that has been given to teams to make sure that they do the needful club licensing and the likes to make sure that the Nigerian National League kicks off. It said that the 2023-2024 season remains unchanged as the season is scheduled to start on Saturday, the October 28th. The Chief Operating Officer of the Nigerian National League, talking about Dr. Ayo Abdulrahman, stated this in Abuja. He said that the board is determined to proceed with its calendar of events as agreed at the AGM in Jos. He stressed that the Nigerian National League has given participating clubs the Wednesday, October 16, 2023 to meet up with the club in licensing requirement. He stated emphatically that they have put everything in step to ensure that the kickoff goes as planned. And this was what he told NLL. We're hoping to see the body stick to this particular thing and see the second division of Nigerian Premier League back in action as soon as possible. Also, we hear that CAF has announced Kenya as the CHAN host for 2024. Initially, the bodies were actually thinking of ruling out that particular tournament, but then after Tanzania and a couple of other East Africans are to host the co-bid of African Cup of Nations set to go down in 2027, CAF announced the host of the 2024 African Nations Championship. This is a tournament being played by home-based players, talking about players who ply their trade locally in their country. Confederation of African Football announced that the host for the 2024 Championship of African Nations will be Kenya. We understand that the last edition was hosted by Algeria, which Senegal won. They emerged as the victors right there. Since the last edition, the body has been searching for the country to host the 2024 edition. CAF was about to cancel the competition for the next season after no countries signified their interest to stage the particular tournament. But CAF on Monday evening announced Kenya as the host country for the next edition of CHAN. Kenya, Tanzania, as well as Uganda are the countries that will host the 2027 African Cup of Nations. And after they were announced, Confederations of Africa Football also announced that Kenya to host the particular African Nations Championship. Now, the draws of the qualifiers is set to be released accordingly to that particular statement. After that statement was made, according to African Football Apex body, we're hoping to see that Nigeria, who has not qualified in subsequent time, will be looking to make that particular cut this time around. The best feat that Nigeria has actually gotten so far is the second place finish in a couple of years back, when they lost to eventual winners. Talking about Moroccans, who were the hosts of that particular tournament. The side like Antonio Poto was a part of that squad. We're talking Dario Uju, that currently plays for Remo Star Sports Club of Ikene. Rabiu Ali was amongst the players right there. Away from CHAN now, we're talking Rivers United. We hear that they are set to host their home games in Uyo. Prior to that qualification that they picked up after defeating Ethio de Filante of Burkina Faso to pick up the qualification. They are now set to play their home games of the CAF Confederations Cup in Uyo. Recall that last season Rivers United also played in all their group matches as well as the quarter-final match before they were hedged out by Young Africans of Tanzania in Uyo, where lots of football fans across the states, talking of Aba, Port Harcourt and Uyo, came out in mass to give the support to Rivers United, but they eventually crashed out. Rivers United, as it's official now that they will play the CAF Confederations Cup home games at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium. Stanley Guma side have now been denied the use of their home ground, talking about the Adokia Amasimeka Stadium for the second time successfully, and the Port Harcourt has also played their group stages in previous competition at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, and then we're looking and hoping how things will definitely unfold right there. Quickly, Rivers United are in Group C with Club Africans of Tunisia, Dreams FC of Ghana, as well as APC Lobito of Angola. Quickly, we're hoping that Rivers United can actually do well to pick up the qualifications on that particular group. Away from that now, we'll quickly talk about Nigerian Premier Football League, what actually went down over the weekend. We understand it was match day 3. It rained goals, lots of exciting opportunities for a couple of teams to pick up 3 points, as well as Remo Stars doing the needful for themselves right there, picking up a vital 3 points away from home. It was a massive a massive goal contribution right there. We're talking Shooting Stars were able to stomp the Savannah Scorpions right there in Lekon Salami Stadium. Ibadan. It came from a goal down to beat Gombe United. Talking about the Savannah Scorpions, Aqua United were beaten in Aba in a five-goal thriller by Enyimba. That's talking about the former champions, the defending champions. They were beaten 5-3 there. Remo Stars also dominates. The team of the week, we'll take you through the team of the week. But before that, quickly let's talk about how Sunshine Stars missed the penalty and they were held at home by the Nazi Millionaires. They were the first to go up front courtesy of that penalty struck from their captain. He put Sunshine Stars up ahead, and then Heartland FC of Owerri equalized. The goalkeeper of Sunshine made a schoolboy error there, and they were able to capitalize on it. And at the latter part of the match, we saw a penalty being awarded for Sunshine Stars, and the animal striker, talking about Ibrahim, failed to convert from the sports kick as he watched his sports kick hit the upright of the bar, left it for Heartland FC to defend their walls very well, and then he ended 1-1 right there. Quickly, let's take you through the results of what happened over the weekend in the Nigerian Premier Football League. How things transpired right there on Saturday. We saw 3 matches in that particular contest. The first one was far away in Benin, when we understand Bendel Insurance picked up Plateau United courtesy of that strike from the defender. Talking about Benjamin Tanimo in Katsina. Lobby Stars held Katsina to a barren draw, while Sunshine played a 1-1 draw with Heartland FC of Owerri. And on Sunday we saw 7 games where opponents Abia Warriors at home defeated Kano Pillars. Bayelsa United lost at home to Remo Stars. Remo Stars picking up the first away win of the season, courtesy of that strike, courtesy of that winning strike from Sikiru Alimi, who scored last week, and then he was able to, get on the score sheet again. Adam Salamilekon scored first in the 4th minute, and Oluwaseun Solomon of Bayelsa United saw a red card in the 17th minute. For Sikiru Alimi doubled the lead in the 79th minute, and Okorie Kesin of Bayelsa United reduced the deficit in the 88th minute. Many are saying, show me a better tactical side than Remo Stars this season. But then Enyimba were at home as they beat Aqua United 3-2. Enugu Rangers got the better of Niger Tornadoes 2-1 ended right there in Enugu. Rivers United, the former champions, were held by Kwara United to a barren draw, while Shooting Stars came from a goal down to beat Gombe United, courtesy of that brace scored by the team captain. Talking of Taufik Malomo, he was very, very instrumental in that 3 points that Shooting Stars got against Gombe United. While Sporting Lagos dropped points at home, it was a barren draw with Doma United. Away from that now, we'll talk about what to expect this weekend in the Nigerian Premier Football League. Fixtures is upon us, and definitely we'll talk about this extensively. Niger Tornadoes will be at home to welcome Bayelsa United, while Kano Pillars will play at the Sani Abacha Stadium this time around. It's against the former champions, the pride of Rivers, talking about Rivers United. Doma United will play in Gombe at the Bantami Stadium, and they will welcome Enyimba FC of Aba. Gombe United will play Bendel Insurance, while Heartland FC of Owerri, after picking up the points in Akure Township Stadium, will welcome Katsina United, who are still struggling to get maximum points. Lobby Stars will play at the Lafia Stadium, and this time around they entertain Abia Warriors. Remo Stars will face Sporting Lagos. It's a battle of 2 tactical teams. Now, who needs it more? That's the question. Samuel Gumodede's side will face Sporting Lagos, while Kwara United will entertain Enugu Rangers. Plateau United will welcome Sunshine Stars. Sunshine Stars failed to pick up a point in last match when they faced the Nazi Millionaires, talking about Heartland FC of Owerri. Now we're hoping to see if they can do the needful against Plateau United away from home. Remo Stars picked up 3 points away from home to Bayelsa United, so definitely it's not difficult to pick up wins away. Many will say your home ground doesn't guarantee you, it's not a fortress for you, to beat other teams. You cannot say because you come into my home, you cannot pick a maximum points. Remo Stars have done it, and this is an eye opener for every other teams in the Nigerian Premier Football League to also do the needful. Before we leave the Nigerian Premier Football League, we quickly talk about the team of the week as was being announced in the early hours of 2 days ago, where we understand that a couple of players that did exceptionally well for themselves well on that particular team. Now we're talking Benjamin Tanimu, we're talking a couple of other players right there from different clubs. Well, quickly take you through the manager of the week was Daniel Gumodede of Remo Stars, which his side picked up a 2-1 victory over Bayelsa United and Ingo Doma United Kingdom Osai after making a couple of decent saves to keep out Sporting Lagos from picking up 3 points. Was voted the best in the goalkeeping section, and in the defense line Benjamin Tanimu, who scored, was picked. Chinedu Sunday of Lobby Stars, we're talking Unguka Jr., the captain of Remo Stars, completes the 3-back man right there. Malomota of Shooting Stars is in the midfield, as well as Chinedu Ferre of Sporting Lagos, and up front there Adams Olamilekan of Remo Stars, Godwin Odibo of Sporting Lagos, as well as Ezekiel Bassi of Heartland, and in front Mboma Chijoke of Eyimba, who formed at the back of the net for Eyimba. Prior to that 3-2 of victory over Akwa United, was voted the best alongside with Sikru Alimu, who has scored twice consecutively now. Now away from Nigerian Premier Football League, now we're talking Nigerian Women Football League. As we understand, Onome Ebi are signed for Niger Ratters and is set to play for them this upcoming season. Onome Ebi at 40, still doing the needful, playing football. Many will say, well, not at the best stage, not at the highest level, but I can tell you at 40, if she can still come back to Nigeria to play physically with the likes of Remo Stars ladies, we're talking Ekiti Queens, as well as Nasarawa Amazons, we're talking Rivers Angels, as well as some other decent clubs, Delta Queens, who have been doing very well for themselves. We're hoping, and she's set to wear the jersey number 5, legendary iconic number. She has been putting on ever since she made her debut for Nigeria far back in 2003 until to the last edition of the World Cup. Onome Ebi is still doing very well for herself and representing Nigeria at the highest level. She deserves flowers. We're wishing her all the best as she begins a new journey with Niger Ratters of Nigeria. Now we'll quickly talk about Nigerian players in diaspora. We understand after moving from Leicester City and joining Saudi Arabian League, Ashley Plumter scored an hat-trick on her debut for Al Ittihad. She scored all 3 goals, and this is a welcome development. I tell you, this girl has been on fire after that fantastic display in the Women's World Cup. She was able, to do the needful, get herself a deal outside England, and now she's playing in the Saudi Arabia League, making her debut, scoring thrice. Is a big statement by her. We do wish the best of luck. Alright, this is where we hit the brakes right here this particular week. Do well to join us again next time when we shall bring you another refreshing and updating package of everything Niger football. We'll talk about what is actually going on right here in Nigeria as well as African football. Do well to subscribe to that YouTube channel, and also hit the like button so that when we drop a new video, you definitely get it. Thank you very much for joining us on this particular episode. I'll see you on the next one.